All right, well, hello. Thank you for watching this video. If you're my student, you're being forced to anyways. Hopefully you watch this entire thing. This is the second video I'm making for my geometry classes. You need to watch and make sure you know what a point, a line, a plane, and ray, and line segment. You make sure you know what those are before coming to watch this video, and there's a video on that, which I made. Should be on my YouTube channel also. So if you know those things, I'm gonna hop into this, and these are gonna be examples on naming geometric structures or terms in diagrams. Specifically, we're gonna be naming points, lines, planes, segments, rays, and opposite rays. So we are going to name everything that is possible to name. And we're going to name it in all the different ways that there are that you can name them for each example. And some of them will be pretty long. So, example one, let's start with a point. Let's start with points and work our way up. So if we're going to name points, we are going to get a comma, because you got to separate it. You don't do A, B, C right next to each other. So A, comma, B, comma, C. And the other way you can write that out is point A, point B, and point C. Really important, capital C, capital B, capital A. Points are labeled and named with capital letters, okay? Don't change something that's a capital to a lowercase in your answer. You're gonna get it wrong, all right? Okay, next thing is gonna lead into lines. There's only one line that's drawn, so we're only gonna name that one line. Now, if you're advanced in geometry, you might understand that there's actually more there, but we're only gonna name the ones, and this goes to my students, we're only naming the ones that are drawn, okay? So we're only going to label AB, line AB with a mini line above it. You could also flip-flop it because lines go forever. Doesn't matter they don't have directionality like a ray does. So you could also do BA. Now, really important, right? These were three different points. This is point 1, point 2, point 3. This is point 1, point 2, point 3. These are the same line. This is line 1, and this is still line 1. And now I'm going to throw in the other ways that as my students, if you're watching this, you actually have to answer it, and that would be line AB. Because you can't just do capital A, capital B next to each other because you can't type in a mini line above it. So you actually have to spell it out. You could also, though, do line BA. So again, all of these are all the same line. They're all line 1. There's only one line. Now, lines, if you watch the other video, have a special case sometimes where you can label it, I don't want to say an easier way, but with fewer letters, I guess, and that would be this lowercase m right here. So that lowercase m is a third way to label the same line, and that would be line M, lowercase m, not capital M, lowercase m. Again, where it sometimes gets confusing, it's really sometimes a pain for teachers to grade because you guys can be giving different answers, but there's 5 different correct ways to label that line. So please, my students, like I just said, you need to be labeling it in either this way, or this way, because you can't type these ones in, okay? Sometimes, as a teacher, I won't even put that lowercase m there. I like to put it there, though, sometimes, though, because some students think that it's a point. That is not a point. That's not point M. That's line M. That lowercase m is not a point, okay? So moving on, let's go to planes. Now there is only one plane again, right? I don't see I don't have drawn more than one plane. So planes. So easiest way is just, I see this is the special case. I'm gonna do the special case first. I have this special case where I have a cursive, italicized, not standard capital R. So I can label this as plane R. All right. Really important that the difference is these are standard capital letters, and the capital letters for a plane, or the capital letter, singular, so there's only one of them, is italicized or cursive. It's normally cursive, but like I said in my other video, if you watched it, I don't know how to write cursive. I blame my 4th grade teacher. Okay, so plain R. Let's do the other way though. The other way to write this is a line. So point is 1 point, lines are 2 points, planes are 3 points. So you could call this plane A, B, C. All right, no commas in between these A, B's, and C's, right? We put commas here because these are 3 separate points, but this is all one thing, plane A, B, C. The 3 points that are in the plane. Now you can mix these up. I'm not going to take the time, but you can mix them up. It could be BAC, CAB. You can mix them up. These letters can be mixed up. The point is you have 3 of the points that are inside that plane. And that's important because later on you're going to be having multiple planes, and you need to be able to pick 3 that are on that plane. Okay, next thing, segments. And after this first example, I'm not going to list everything because that'll make this video way too long, I'm finding out. So in the next 2 examples, we won't list everything. So segments, AB, you could do AB with a line segment above it. You could do BA with a segment above it. Again, difference, these has arrows because of the line. These don't have arrows because they're not a line, they stop. The other way is to just call it, and this is the way that my students have to do it, is segment AB or segment BA. Okay, capital letters, capital letters. Directionality doesn't matter because there is no arrow. It's not going off to one side. It's just in between those 2 endpoints of the segment. All right, now we got rays. Rays are a little bit more interesting sometimes. Rays. So for rays, if I just pick a point, so if I pick A, so if I do, let's do ray A, and then from A to this other point, because there's no point over here. If I pick A, there's no point to the left of A. So I don't have a point over here. I can't do A to nothing. I can do A to B though. So I can do ray AB, which in other words is AB with a mini ray above it. All right. Or there's the other one. This is actually, this is one ray, and we have another ray, and that would be ray BA, because there's also a ray that goes from B. So AB starts A and it goes through B, but you can also start at B and go through A. So you can also call this BA. So rays get a little more confusing because you really have to look, especially if your teacher is asking you to label all of the rays, then you really have to look because rays can overlap each other, right? I have a ray that goes from here. Oh, I didn't want to use that color. I have a ray that goes from here through here, but then I also have a ray that goes from here through there, right? I have a ray going from B through A, and I have a ray going from A through B. So they can overlap each other, all right? Okay, that's example one. A lot of stuff in there, a lot of stuff in there. I'm going to stop labeling everything though. I'm gonna give things one name. All right, so points, start off with points. So we got, I'm gonna label it the way that my students have to type it in, or the quickest way to type it in. So that would be X, comma, capital Y, comma, capital Z, comma, I have this capital R down here. Then I have to look, is that a capital R? Nope. Is that a standard capital B? Nope. Looks like a little cursive squiggly B. All right. Is that a capital S? Nope. So there's my 4 points. I got 4 points. All right. Okay. Actually, next thing. So next thing would be lines. So lines. Now, the easiest way to label this line is actually with that lowercase letter up there, because these are, again, the special cases. Special cases, the easiest way to label a line. So I'm just going to call this, we have line R, comma, we also have line S. Now, if you don't remember that, it's really easy to just do line, just pick 2 points. This one only has 2 points, so that's easy. YR, and then line, you can pick any of these 2 points, doesn't matter. You can do YZ, ZX, YX, doesn't matter. XZ, doesn't matter. I'm gonna do XZ, so XZ. So those would be 2 different options for labeling them, all right? Right, this line, line S, and line XZ are the same line. And line R and line YR, Y capital R, are the same line. Okay, let's do plane. So planes, let's just call this plane. Now I gotta have fun, so I do a little, it's my little special B right there, all right? So plane B, that's my little special B. All right, that's a special way to label a plane. You could, and this is really important when you label this plane. My question is, if you look at this diagram, you should notice something special about this section of line right there. There's something special about it. And what's special about it is it's not dotted. And it's not dotted for a reason. It's not dotted because, I always have fun when I do this, usually when there's students in the classroom though, is that line, I don't know if you can see me, you guys need to be looking in the screen right now. Actually, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, okay. That line, what do I call it? YR or line R is actually going through, it's going through plane B, right? It's going through plane B. So it's coming down kind of at like an angle, right? It's coming at like, I don't know if you can see this, coming at like an angle, and it's coming through underneath and then coming out. So it's actually, it's like if you were to, usually students, I don't know, have shot a bow and arrow, or they can think of shooting a rifle if they've ever gone hunting or done target practice, or sometimes let's have students grab their pencil and give them a piece of scratch paper and stab it so they can see that that line is going through plane B at point Y and then going underneath the plane and coming out. So this line, let me draw it. I shouldn't say draw it. Let me color over it. And then dot, 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 and then solid again. That line is actually not on the plane. It's going through the plane. So if that line is not on the plane, so let me write that up here. Line R is going through plane B, not laying on it. What I mean by laying on it is this other line is like literally it's on it. So like if you were to think of that plane as a piece of paper, line XYZ would be drawn on it, and the pencil going through it, if you were to stab a pencil through point Y, would be line R. It's going through it, and then this would actually be drawn on it. So much easier to understand. I'll make a video on that actually. I'll make another separate video explaining stabbing through a piece of paper. So my point of that is there's 4 points, but which of these 4 points is actually on plane B? Plane R, I mean not plane R, point R is on this line that's not on the plane. It's going through the plane. This is actually underneath, right? If I had my piece of paper, again, if you can look in the little tiny square, if I had, I don't know if I can make this bigger. Let's find out. I have no idea. If I had that line, which is YR going through, then point R is down here. It's not on this plane that's the piece of paper. So only X, Y, and Z are on there. So I could only label this plane X, Y, Z. Now I could rearrange those letters. I can rearrange those points. But R is not on this plane. It's underneath it. Okay. I think I've reiterated that enough. Let's move on. Now I'm not gonna label all the rays. So let's move on to rays. Just get that out of the way. We got some rays. And as a teacher, I'm never gonna ask you to list all this stuff. I'll ask you label a ray on it. I'm never gonna ask you label everything because as you can see, it gets a little ridiculous because there's a lot of stuff on there. So I have ray, you just pick a point. If I pick Y, well, I can go from Y through X. So I could do ray Y, X. I could also go from ray Y or point Y through Z. So I could do ray Y, Z. And if you guys notice, what's special about that is they both originate from Y and go out. So those are actually opposite rays. So if I was to label opposite rays, that would be ray YX and ray YZ. Now, this keeps going. There's a bunch more. Like another one would be YR. So you could also do ray. Let's do something other than YR. What about RY? You can start from R and go through Y. How about ray? Wow, I messed that up. Ray RY. Right? You could start at R and go through Y. There's a whole bunch of rays on there. All right, rays, like I said in the other video, rays get really ridiculous. They overlap each other. And as I just said also, I'm only gonna ever ask you for one. I'm not going to ask you to list everything because it gets ridiculous. The important part here, the important part I wanted to convey on this example was that this line R is not on the plane. It goes through it. And the dotted or the dashed line section means that that's underneath it. It's not on it, it's underneath it. Solid means that it's on it or above it. Dash means that it's like it's underneath it. You can't actually see it, but it's there. That's what dash means. So let's look at one last example. I know this video is getting a little long. Here's another example. Now this one, just go through and label a few things. So let's just get all the points out of the way. Points. Let's do A, C, B, A, C, B, Z, and then D. Are there any other ones? Oh, there's X also. All right, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 points. All right. Okay, we got the points. Let's do lines. So lines. So those are points. Lines. We can do lowercase. So we have lowercase. So we can do line B, and we can do line A. Again, if you want to do these lines, you could also just pick 2 different points. So you could do line ZC, and then you could do line AC. Just got to pick 2 points. Just make sure that when you do these points, you do capitals, and when you do these, you do lowercase for the lines, okay? Planes. So planes, we got our special cursive or italicized, whatever you want to call it. So we got plane M, and then we also have plane V. All right, it's got plane M and plane V, 2 different planes. So I'm actually, what I want to do, I'm gonna grab my Sharpie and let's shade this in. Because this kind of reiterates the point that I was trying to make on the last one about how a line will go through but is not on a plane. Oh, come on. If I was you, I'd just be skipping this section of the video till when I got it done, because I don't have no time to edit this video. It's gonna be a 1 take, all right? And then if I do this other plane, okay, so we got our 2 planes, all right? What the heck? All right, sorry about that. We got our 2 planes. We got plane M, so we got plane M, and we got plane V. I guess my question would be, is line B, which plane is on line, or no? Yeah, which plane is line B on? Which plane is line B on? Is it on V or is it on M? And that, what we're talking about in the last example is there's this section right here of dashed lines. So if it's not solid on a plane, then it's not on that plane. So you see how it's solid on plane V? That means it's on plane V. It being dashed on plane M means it's not on M. It means it's actually below M. It means it's below M. It's like if I had, I don't know if I can do this. Maybe I can. Where's another piece of paper? It's like if I had two planes sitting here and this line, I can't hold it up. I gotta make some like 3D models of this stuff. That's what I need to do. But it's below it. It's underneath it. My point is this like the pencil shoved through the paper at C, but then there's another piece of paper that's folded up against it. It's kind of like if you had like an envelope card. It's like if you had an envelope card, but then on this top envelope, you shoved a pencil through it to where it was coming through the bottom. So line XC is not on this plane. It's not on the bottom part of the envelope. It would be on the top part, or a letter card, right? It'd be, yeah, I don't know. All right, I'll figure it out in another video. I obviously need to explain that a little bit better. But my point is line B is on this plane, and line A, now line A is special. Line A is a little special. Line A is on the crease, right? If I had a letter card, it's the crease that's going through it. So the question is line A on plane M or is line A on plane V, right? Is this line right here on one or the other, or is it on both? And the answer to that is it's actually on both. That line is on both of them. However, this line is not, because this line goes underneath this plane. I know it's hard to visualize three-dimensionally, and I'll try, like I said, I'll try and make some videos that help with that. So let's just name a few rays. Like if you had to name a ray on here, not going to name all of them. If you had to name a ray, you could do like CA, so ray, CA. You could do like XC, going from X through C. You could do ray, XC. You could do, there's so many of them. There's so many rays. It's ridiculous. All right, I'm going to cut that video there. I think it's a good enough starting point, hopefully not too confusing. And there's a lot, geometry, there's a lot of different things you can label. Hope that video was at least a little helpful. All right, so thank you for watching, and I'm gonna end it there.